Good morning everyone, this is BremSter and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle from the Skunkworks. Well, actually it's a puzzle by myself, Riffclown and Sotek. And the reason this puzzle is being brought to you and the reason this puzzle was created is we were playing around with some other puzzles and we found something. So this is definitely not a blind solve. And what we found, we wanted to demonstrate. We wanted to create a puzzle that would allow people to find the thing that we found. The puzzle that we found, what we found in, this is really bad language. The puzzle that we found it in, it was very well hidden, but we wanted to come up with something that would allow people to find what we found much easier, because on the other one, it was just hard. And so we were playing around with ideas, and this is the puzzle we came up with. And this is the Mad Scientist's Fabric Box. And the name for that, and the reason we've named it that, we'll leave that as a mystery for now. Don't try and solve that mystery. It is, at this time, unsolvable. The puzzle, however, is very solvable, and the feedback we've got from it so far has been very positive. So this has been tested quite a few times, and this has been posted to Logic Masters Germany. I will throw a link to that below, maybe even above. And this is also puzzle 6842 in the CTC Discord archive. So we are sharing this puzzle far and wide. So as I said, this will not be a blind solve. And what I wanted to do is highly recommend that you try this puzzle for yourself. We believe this is an approachable puzzle, and that most people or most solvers should be able to do it. Most of our testers have been able to do it in under half an hour, some of them much faster than that. So even finding the trick. So what I'm going to do is highly recommend you jump to the link below and give this puzzle a shot. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a shot, but I know the trick. So yeah, I'm going to try and demonstrate that to you. So let's get on to it, shall we? Let's give this a shot. So this is well, I should explain the rules. This is a killer puzzle. So we have killer cages, where the digits that are placed in cages will sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage, and digits may not repeat within a cage, which is not really relevant to this puzzle because the only cages that cross box boundaries are in the same row. We also have whisper lines, and on whisper lines, adjacent digits must have a difference of at least 5. So whatever you put into a cell, on a green line, the one next to it must be at least 5 different. So you can never put a 5 on a whisper line, because 5 lower than 5 is 0, not valid. 5 higher than 5 is 10, not valid. And that is very important, which we'll get to. So now I'll actually do this properly. Let's give this a shot. So this 15 cage is an obvious place to start, because 15 will either be 6, 9 or 7, 8. Both of these are high digits. So you can actually look at this, and this is something that I always struggle with, and think about what happens if you put a low digit in the middle here. Because if this is low, then both of these will be high. And if they're high, they will have to sum to 15, because whichever 2 high digits you put here will be the ones that you don't use here, and these will sum to 15. So the 2 high digits that are left must sum to 15. So this must be a high digit, and these must be low. Otherwise, you've broken the 15 cage. So this can't be a 6, so this will be a 7, 8 or a 9. And these will be something from 1, 2, 3 or 4. Actually, they can be 4 because you can put 9 there. So that gets you something up here. Now, there's a couple of tricks you can learn at this point, and I'm not going to jump straight to the final trick, though you can get it right now. If you look at row 3 and ask yourself, where can 5 go? 5 can never go on a whisper line, and 5 can't go in a 10 cage. So 5 will have to go into one of these cages with either 4 or 6. So that's a little bit interesting. The same is true down here. 5 is going to have to go into one of these cages. Now, this is bad pencil marking because I'm pencil marking for the row, but it's worth noting that 5 will have to go into one of these cages, and it will, if it goes here, it's going to go with the 6, and if it goes here, it's going to go with the 4. And you can do some more investigation, but the trick that we wanted people to think about was this is a 15 cage with a whisper line. This is a 15 cage with a whisper line, and I'm actually going to mark that in, I'm going to use, actually I'll use purple because I've used yellow and blue up here. These are 15 cages with whisper lines. 9, 10 and 11 sum to 30, but we know the entire row sums to 45. So this is a 15 cage with a whisper line. 9, 10 and 11 sum to 30. This is a 15 cage with a whisper line. 14 and 16 sum to 30. This is a 15 cage with a whisper line. 18 and 12 sum to 30. This is a 15 cage with a whisper line. Now, these ones aren't given as 15 cages, these 4, but they are actually 15 cages with whisper lines, which means they are 15 and cannot contain 5. So we were hoping by having all 6 of them that it would draw your attention, because that's important. Because if you think about it, now I could use my calculator at this point and pull out some obvious deductions, but I'm actually going to try and do it here using first principles. So what can you do for a 15 cage without a 5? So let's start at the bottom. Let's say if we use a 1 and then we use a 9, you'd have to use a 5. So that's not valid. So if you use 1 and then 8, that's 9, so you'd have to use a 6. That seems to work. And if you use 1 and 7, then you'd have to use a 7 as well, and that's not going to work. 1 and 6, you get back to 168. So 168 is the only possibility with a 1. If you move to 2, then you could do 2, 9, which is 11, 4. So that works. 2, 8 would then need a 5, which we're saying we're not doing. 2, 7 would then need a 6. So that's a valid way of getting to 15. All I'm doing is figuring out 15 totals without 5s at the moment. And if I was to then go, and then I've hit the 2, 6, which is as low as I can go before I hit the 5. 3, 9 would mean I would need another 3, so that's not going to work. 3, 8 is 11, I would need a 4, so that's a valid option. And 3, 7 means I need a 5. 3, 6 means I need another 6, so that's not going to work. And if I go 4, 9, then I need 4 and 9 is, as I said, I'm trying to do this first principles, 2, so that's the same as that. I don't need it. 4, 8 means I need a 3, which is the same as that. I don't need it. 4, 7 means it's 11. I'd need another 4. 4, 6 means I'd need a 5. So these are the only 4 options you have for 15 without a 5. And this is why I tend not to do killer cages, because there's a lot of options for 15 with on its own. This is why I tend to be bad at killer cages, because I'm slow at the math. But without 5, you've only got those options. But if you think about it, these also need to match the whisper property. Now, therefore, if you look, those two have 4s and those two have 6s. But if you were to put 6 on this line, you would need a 1 with it to match the whisper property. So 2, 6, 7 would not be possible. You would break the line. And if this, with the 4, you need a 9 because you need a digit 5 away from the 4, and that doesn't work. So the only options are 1, 6, 8 and 2, 4, 9 for all of these lines. But you can't put a 6 in the middle, because if you put a 6 in the middle, you would need to put a 1 on both ends. The same with 4. If you put a 4 in the middle, you would need to put the 9 at both ends, which means there's either going to be a 6 or a 4 at the end of the line, which means there is a 1 or a 9 in the middle of each line. And that is forced the minute you say this is a 15 cage without a 5 on it. A whisper line 15 cage must have a 1 or a 9 in the middle. Now, this, if you look at the options, means that if it's the 9, it's got 2, 4 on either side, and if it's the 1, it's got 6, 8 on either side. which are the even digits. And that can be seen by the fact that we've used the odd digit. These need to sum to an odd total. So they either need to be both odd or both even, but you can't make them both odd because you would break, they're just not available as options. You need to include the 4 or the 6. So these are from 2468. These are from 2468. And that is completely forced by the whisper logic with the 15 cages. Now, there's a few ways of progressing from here, but I'm going to jump straight to the trick which is most obvious, I think, though some testers have struggled to find it. This line here, if these were the high digits, they would be 6, 8. This would be 7, 9, which does not sum to 15. So you cannot make these the high digits. Those need to be low. That needs to be the 9. That needs to be the 1. That needs to be a 9. That needs to be a 1. Once that is 1, 1, they become low. These become high. These become high. Those become low. What did I just do wrong there? I took 6 out of there for some reason. So those are 6 and 8. Those are not 6 and 8. Those are not 6 and 8. Those are not 2 and 4. So remembering row 3, we did decide you can't put a 5 in a 10 cage. If you put 5 in a 9 cage, it would have to go with 4, which is not available. This is 5, 6. We now can ask ourselves, where does the 8 go in the row? Well, if we put the 8 in the 10 cage, it would have to go with a 2, which is not available. So this becomes 1, 8, and this becomes 3, 7. Now, there's actually another way of looking at that, which is the 10 cage either is 2 evens or 2 odds. And someone else explained this to me, and I was never very clear with it. If you were to use 2 evens, it would have to be 4, 6 not available or 2, 8 not available. If it's 2 odds, you can't use 5, 5. So the only options are 1, 9 not available or 3, 7. So this becomes 3, 7 the minute these become forced to be those digits. So now you ask yourself, where does the 9 go in this row? Well, it can't go in a 9 cage with a 0, so this is 2, 9, and the only digits left over are 4 and 5. And all of that, again, becomes moderately forced. Now, from this point on, I'm kind of swimming blind because I just remembered the opening trick. There's no 9 up here, so there's no 6 up here. This is 7, 8. This becomes 9. There needs to be 6 left over, so those are 1, 2, and 3. So that becomes 7, and that becomes 3. These are 4 and 8. This 9 makes this 2, which makes this 9. That 9 looks up, making this 1, which means these are not 2 and 4. This is the 9, meaning these are not 6 and 8. The 2 makes that 4, which makes that 2. There is no 2 here, so there is a 2 in one of those. So this is probably restricted now. I can't use 1, 9. I can't use 2, 8. I can't use 3, 7. This is 4, 6. The 2, 4 is looking up, so that becomes the 6 and that becomes the 4. These are, of course, 3, 5, and 7, which are the odd digits that were left over, and I could have got that the minute I got the 1, 9 and the 2, 4, 6, 8. There's no 7 there. Two is in one of those two, but I don't think that's what I should be looking at. Maybe this 14 cage. I can't use a 1. No, I can use a 1. I can't use a 2, a 4, or a 9. No, hang on. That's an 8, so that's a 1. I can't use a 1. So the minimum I can use in here is 3, 5, and 6. Because I can't use 1, 2, I can use 3, I can't use 4. So 3, 5, and 6 is the minimum, and 3, 5, and 6 is 14. So that gets me there. So this is 1, 7, and 8, and 1, 7, and 8 is 16. So that works. Now the 3, 5, 6 here means that this is the 8 and this is the 6. There's no 1 there. This 4 is looking over making this 2 and this 4. I should have seen that a while ago. There's 2 1s here, so that's actually a 1. It's a 7, 8 pair. This 6, 8 is looking up, making that 7 and that 8. We used the same trick a bit, I remember. I just don't remember where. This is a 6, 8 pair, so that's a 7 and that's an 8. There's no 7 here. There's no 6 here. That puts 7 in one of those two. This is a triple. 3, 5, 7. Well, that's not 3. So there is a 3 down here. I remember it being more elegant than this. I think that's just me. There's a 7 right there, because this is a 3, 5 pair. So there's a 7 in one of those two. It's probably these cages, isn't it? I can't use a 1 in a 12 cage. So 2, 3... There's lots of options there. If I don't use a 2 in the 12 cage, it becomes 3, 4, 5. Which is... No, I can't use 3, 4, 5 because that would break that. So I must use a 2 in the 12 cage. So this is a 4 and this is a 2. Because 3, 4, 5, if I don't use the 2, is the only way I could get there, and that would break that cell. This 4 is now looking down, making this 5 and this 4. So there is a 2 in the 12 cage. So it's 2, I need another 10. Well, I could use 1, 9. So it's 1, or 3, 7. I can't use 2, 8. No, I can't use 1, 9. Can't use 1, 9. I can't use 2, 8. And I can't use 4, 6. So this is 2, 3, 7. And the only place I can put 7 is there. No, that 2 goes back in there. 7 comes out. This is 2, 3. So this is now not 7. And this is 4, 5, 9. 4, 5, 9 is 18. 9 can't go in either of those. So that is the 9. The 4 is looking over, making that 5 and that 4, which makes this 3 and this 5. That 3 means this is not 3 or 5. That is 6. There is no 6 there. This 8 makes this 6 and this 8. Pay more attention. 2 makes this 3 and this 2, which looks over making that 5 and that 3. The 5 looks up making that 6 and that 5. Now, these are 1, 3, and 6, and there must be a 6 in them. I can't put the 6 in the middle of a whisper line. So that is not the 6. This is a 6. These now must be high. These have got to be 7 and 8 because 6 and 9 are gone, and these have to be high. So that's 21. So this is a 1. This is a 3. There is no 3 in those. That is a 1, 2. There is a 2 looking up, making that the 1 and that the 2. These are a 3, 5 pair. There is a 5 here. So this is the 3. This is the 5. This 8 is looking over making this 6 and this 8. The colouring is actually making it hard for me to see where I haven't put digits. So I'm going to get rid of it. 7, 8 makes that 3 and that 7. These are 4 and 5. The 5 is again looking down, making that 4 and that 5. The 4 is looking up, making that 8 and that 4. 5 here makes that 7, which means there's no 7 in here. This is 3, 5. The 5 here resolves the order, 3 and 5. These are, that's not 7, 2 and 9. And that 2 gives me the order, 9 and 2. So these are 3 and 7. No, that can't be right. If I've broken the puzzle. I've broken the puzzle. Because I've put 2 2s in this box. It doesn't matter how well you know a puzzle. So, I put 2 2s in this box because that is the wrong... Did I just misclick that? Because I've got 2 2s in the row, 2 2s in the box. I think I just misclicked that. Do I want to roll back that far? Because that's a long way. I just misclicked that. So I'm going to roll all, because we can see here that I had 3 5. So I just typed the wrong digit. So I'm going to roll all the way back forward rather than resolve everything. And when I get to here, I'm just going to change that to a 3. Okay, so this is... I'm now confused again. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 and 9. And we know the order, 9 and 4. The 7 here makes this the 2 and this the 7. So yeah, I had the 3 5 pair, I just typed the wrong digit. Sorry about that, everyone. 1 goes in there. 5 has to go in the middle. So this is a 1 6 pair. This is actually 2 3, and we know the order because of box 7. These are now 1 and 8, and this 8 up here resolves it. This is the 1, this is the 8. This is 6 and 9. There is a 9 here, so this becomes 6, this becomes 9, this becomes 1, this becomes 6, and the 7 8 is resolved ages ago by that. And that is the Mad Scientist's fabric box. So the puzzle was designed to hopefully help you find that these 15 cages, either the given ones or the virtual ones on whisper lines, were very restricted, forced the 1 9 into the middle, and that there were only 2 possible options. And once you found that, then they were very restricted and they would actually feed into each other, particularly these 4, and start giving you a lot of constraints on the grid, particularly with these 9, 10 and 11 cages, and then the whole thing would collapse. I hope you gave that puzzle a try. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you didn't type a wrong digit in and cause a whole bunch of chaos like I did. And yeah, as I said, this is in the CTC archive as puzzle 6842. And when I actually have that information, I'm going to try and call it out in videos in the future. And there will be a link to this puzzle on Logic Masters Germany as well. Thank you for exploring the puzzle with us. I hope you enjoy this one. I hope you like it when we bring bits of information to you like this, and let you find them on your own, I hope. And as always, thank you for watching and good luck with your solving.